Doing the blacking out the screen. So I get to. Hope you're having good days. I get to hear some of my warm-up sounds. I've been. I don't need this. I'll forget it. Yeah. I already have 1.5. Say 1.5. No, you've had 3. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm just not doing too bad. I don't know what. Yeah. Okay. From healing pretty quick. Especially like, let's see, there's. That one. Yeah. That's they still look a bit red, but I don't generally stop scratching at them. I do use the hydrogen peroxide now, and they look a lot better, and they do heal a lot. They probably heal the same duration, but they don't have to stop and restart as much. I mean, it heals faster because I'm not picking up the stuff as much, or I'm not I don't get like it doesn't. You don't itch as much as otherwise. I'll still some itches, or you can tell a difference, and for those cases, I usually pull out the hair, and if I just pick the scab, or if it was like a soft one, like there's different textures. The hard ones you can pull out a hair and it pulls off the whole thing, anyways. So you'll end up scratching those. Like there's the ones that are like a frog one it didn't know. They don't. I'm fairly certain should try some dermatology because of the see what how close their information is to mine. This is I have the turn the screen back off because y'all are getting a full whatnot, but I can see my chin and my mouth on the reflection of the screen. Notice that when I was, you generally will have a fly or two, usually a fly, but it's several. Like if you have a fly around you at all times, it means you've got a family somewhere. Uh, Same with like if you see one mouse run somewhere and it'll run behind something, and then it looks like that same mouse is running to the next point. They're pretty clever. If you've got more than one mouse, that won't be the same mouse, but in your brain, like it's pretty. There's it's not only with mice that will do that. I've noticed that if you get a German cockroach, you've got to catch that first cockroach before, like, if you catch it in time to and generally flush it. You don't have to kill it, but catch it, and if the egg sack's still there in the backside, you flush all that. They can find hopefully get out before they get into some sort of like filters or caught into mesh stuff or whatnot. But yeah, so I also want to learn I want to learn. Okay, so not terraforming, but yeah, that too. The land design. I've noticed that it doesn't look to first glance when you go into somebody's place for for landscape designing, that there's any mention of insects, like certain pathing that you would incorporate into your landscaping for insects specifically. So you don't. I mean, you can share the planet pretty easy. You can put some cinnamon powdered under your pets. Like if you have animal food outside on the ground, you can put cinnamon under it. There'll still be ants inside of it, but then there won't be thousands of ants. There'll be a few dozen ants over the course of a few days. And so, whenever the food bowl empties, you dump out the ants somewhere, and they cannot find their way back to that food bowl. They can't leave. I mean, they can leave the food area but they can't leave a trail to like, hey, this is how you find it. So they're, yeah, it can be bad. Definitely dump them out because like why would you want to be stuck somewhere where you got all the foods you want, but you got no hydration, you've got no way to get back to, it could be unpleasant fast. Anyways, so. I do like the sativa, but I'm not as fast. I'm not talking as fast as I was whenever I did the syringe plus condoms equals babies. There's also that. That's when I was starting with the phlebotomy because I figure I can get a job at a college and then pay for stuff. But then I know that doesn't work. I don't have the I can't. I don't have the capacity to keep going and doing things each day that I know generally aren't needed or don't feel needed. Um, Necessary, not even needed, but necessary. Everything's needed or it wouldn't be done. Like I mean, that's not true though either. People. Like some in clinic, like trying to figure out something to do with music, but mostly it's probably recording type stuff. But then everybody can do something. It's just whenever I hold a guitar, there's no. Uh, I had a bass guitar that I liked, and I had some like motivation to make some music on it. But mostly I was using my watch. I had a kinetic watch that got stolen, and I would. It was an electric bass. I could hold. I was holding the right hand was wearing the watch. I'd hold it over the pickup, and I noticed you could hear the seconds tick. Every 60 seconds, you'll hear the two ticks, and then every, six, 2 times 60, 36 plus 2 zeros. Every 3,600 seconds, you'll hear 3 ticks, because it'll be the minute and the hour and the second. Okay, so I was just getting to where I could take the one tick from the one hand and kind of think about it. And I was holding the other hand over. I don't even know if that mattered or not, just because it may not matter. But I had the other end at the left hand at the neck of the guitar, or the bass, electric bass guitar. Um, CPV. It was probably some sort of something like. Anyways, so I mentioned the kinetic watch specifically because it seems like it might have a better charge or a more electric usage because it's constantly being charged. They don't have to really be conservative or as concerned. So you think about it specifically, and you would hear multiple ticks for a few seconds at times. Like I got to like 14 or 15 from when not consistently though. Well, not inconsistently. I would only try it too much because then somebody did a knock or I'd go and play video games or try to type to people. I've been typing to people for 25 years. Let's see, 13. No, almost 25. Let's see, high school would have been 17, 14. Yeah, okay. That would have been mid junior high, like early, like 6th, 7th grade. Was heavily typing to people constantly from then on as much as possible. Not often. So the goal is, or the rule is you could get on the computer during the weekends, but then the reality was you try to get on as much as possible. At one point, I had a sheet behind me, and I would, like in my junior year, I was on a lot at night, and then I was sleeping a few hours a night, and it was pretty active. It was pretty good. Things were chill. But then lost. Yeah, I realized that you're not. You're still a beta male, you know. I'm still so it's like people don't want you to reproduce. That you did is, you know, awesome. You know, high max. Not no. It'll like this is a anyways. For a minute. Um, Still have the idea of the bypassing the vasectomy. So phlebotomy, I think, is still the primary thing because that'll help with the sterility of things. Like for me, it's good enough, you know. But then for other people, the alcohol swab on the before you on the insertion point, like to me, I generally wouldn't do that. But then I've got to remember that if I'm well, it's because it's just good for me. So yeah, some of the part of the reason with the picking of the scabs more and why I use the hydrogen peroxide is because I would keep picking them like too early, and then I'd notice that habitually picking more like because it was a food source kind of. It's at least a form of input, but then I'm thinking that's why with the dermatology, I'm very certain they have a flat don't eat scabs policy. But then I'm fairly certain eating scabs is basically self-vaccinating in moderation. I want to say in consent too, because the body doesn't want to give them all up. Like it knows like when you need to give it an extra day or two to heal some primary bits and stuff because you'll both be better off for it. It's not so much that it does, but it's the I don't know. Yeah, I noticed that if you get a scratch to the I had a 300-pound guy and his wife pick a fight with me one day, and it was during winter, and it was as like events are winding down for like the holidays, and so these people are leaving, and so they're calling me back to their room and like, hey, talking, okay, this is the parents or alleged parents. They get pissed off, like physically upset whenever I mention that you still haven't got that still haven't proved that y'all are my parents yet, you know? I mean, y'all have so much issue with me trying to have my own name and saying, oh, it's disrespectful from the start, whenever it has nothing to do with y'all. It's my name, for one thing. It's not disrespectful. It doesn't really, I mean, I was trying to do, like, at one point I was trying to do something noteworthy for the family name, like before changing it legally, but then now I'm realizing I can change it legally and at least save the family name embarrassment. Uh, uh, and then, still, yeah, in my case, it was a name given me by people who had no idea, like just who don't know me, who had no intent to actually want to get to know me. It was, um, there was a specific way of okay, the whose line is it anyways when they have to guess like who's like the dating game where they're oh you're this and this and this and this and yeah blah blah blah. So like if I can if I can figure out their goals or their because they had three sets of rules for each of their children like to raise this specifically by. So if I could figure out what those rules were, I would have not wasted so much time. But then also I would have gotten into more trouble because I wouldn't have gotten caught. And I kind of like generally was always when something was untowards for general society practices, there are people who have alerted the alleged parents that they should be punished. Oh, the screen was. Forget that this it's recording. Uh, so this is going in just fine. It will be another like month and a half before it's there will be a bit of a. I wonder how big the. Not too worried. I had a neighbor back in New Mexico who was potentially the Mexican Burt Reynolds. Uh, while also mixed with the most interesting man. I continue to wonder how much is was exaggeration, but I'm finding out that I just have a difficult time with people because there is a lot of exaggeration. For a minute. I turned off the screen. The black screen off, keep recording. I don't know why I swiped it down to